Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the Game Master for today's session of RuneQuest, role-playing in Glorantha. This is the 6th session of our playthrough of the RuneQuest starter set, and all kinds of exciting things are happening. I'm going to begin by throwing to our fantastic cast who joins us once more. Can we begin with London?
Hello, my name is London Carlisle, TTRPG enthusiast and actor. I am playing the wonderful Varakos Wolf Killer. Wonderful is maybe not the best descriptor, but I'm having a wonderful time playing it. So, yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. And he's wonderful in his own way. Across to Cynthia.
Hey everyone, I am Cynthia Marie, also a TTRPG enthusiast, and I am playing Vasana. She is a follower of Orlanth, kind of like the lightning god, truth god, whatever. Cool, awesome. Has a bison named Molon, has a can I say badass? I'm going to say badass anyways. Sister, Yenioth. And she is kind of like the de facto leader and having a lot of fun. And she has a gnarly scar. You couldn't tell. Yeah.
Excellent. Gnarly indeed. Thank you very much, Vasana, as we go across to Bridget.
That scar is really so dope, Sin. You just put your foot into that every week. I love it. Hi, guys. My name is Bridget. I am playing Yenioth, which is a priestess of Ornata. I love the Earth rune. I have a 90 in it, so everything that she does is very highly in tune to just the Earth. She absolutely loves these other players, the characters that they're playing, and she is the big sister of Vasana, but she really looks up to her, even though she's kind of like the baby sister, not only just in the family tier, but also as a leader within the group.
Phenomenal. And Dave.
G'day, I'm Dave, and I'm playing Mago the Fierce, Initiate of the Stormball, and Chaser of Clout and Reputation. If your name doesn't get out there, what's the point in doing it?
You gotta have that grind mentality.
Glorantha's about the brand.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. All right, fantastic. So, a brief recap for those of you who are just joining us. Our heroes are assisting the people and the authorities in Jonstown with securing the area and trying to make it more peaceful, prosperous, and protected after the town was liberated from lunar occupation by Kalia Starbrow and her forces. After helping some people at the nearby Menria's Landing deal with too many scorpion folk, our heroes have returned and are now trying to deal with a huge number of fires too many fires, a preponderance of fires that have been exploding all about the town. Fortunately, our heroes were able to put out the fires before they did too much damage, and they've started looking into exactly what could have been going on, and they think that the fires are related to the burning of the Seven Mothers Temple. That is the temple of one of the lunar gods that was burnt down some time ago. After a great deal of research and rumination, they figured out, and some spectacular rolls, they figured out that Varguzan, the temple guard of the Seven Mothers Temple, is a person of interest and should be spoken to. And Yenioth performed a special ritual which indicated that the person behind the fires inside Jonstown was right below the Seven Mothers Temple, where there is apparently a greater section that extends underground. We left Varakos standing guard over the temple, aware that the arsonist was apparently just down there at this very point, while the other three headed to one of the nearby clandestine inns for a meeting with Varguzan after leaving him a message. And indeed, we jumped away from the session last time as Varguzan appeared, and we will pick things back up. The collection of you have gotten together a small room. You are off to one side in private, where you can talk semi-freely, although the noise from the tavern below is still echoing around, and you can get a proper sense for this man. The first thing that you realize is that Varguzan looks a little bit like Varakos, and I've been drawing on the similarities between them, but the biggest thing that sets them both on the same track is Varguzan has an enormous death rune across the center of his face. He has that same moon rune to one side, which is what you're able to identify him by, but he clearly shares the same focus as Varakos, and indeed as Vasana and Mago as well. He sits down, gazing at the lot of you, glancing back and forth occasionally, not really sure where to start. Who breaks the silence first?
Can we confirm who's present?
Absolutely.
All of us are, or Virakos is still
All of
keeping
you
guard?
apart from Varakos, who is still keeping guard up on the actual temple side itself. We'll jump back to you because some things are going to happen up there.
All right then.
Yeah. All right.
So you'll be the temple guard.
Varguzan, I was the temple guard. Not much of a temple left anymore, but as close as there is left.
No. So I feel like we should introduce ourselves. This is Vasana, Farnan's daughter. This is Yanioth, Verena's daughter. I am Mago the Fierce, and our comrade Varakos Wolfkiller is currently keeping watch at your temple.
I've seen some of the work you did. I heard about what happened at Menria's Landing, and I've been watching you search and deal with the fires and things like that. You've done good work.
Right. Well, that's relevant. The fires. Let's start there then, shall we? Have you been starting those? Because we will need to ask you to stop.
He shifts in comfortably in his seat, and he looks across. He's clearly trying to get a measure of the collection of you, trying to understand what you're coming into this conversation with in your mind. Mago, you seem pretty direct, maybe a little bit confrontational, but you're at least willing to talk. What are the other two of you thinking? Is it scowls and barely contained contempt? Is it curiosity? Is there understanding? What are the sisters thinking?
I think there's a lot of curiosity coming from Vasana. She's trying to uphold kind of an intimidating facade, but she's more trying to listen in between the words he's saying, just to kind of see kind of what person he is.
Sure. Do you want to make for me, just in general, an insight check? Insight human, so that will be under your perception skills, which for you is going to be base +5. Not so good. Why don't you make an intimidate check for me instead, just so you can give off that air and we'll see how he's feeling.
Excellent. That's better for me. Trying to see, did I up that at all? I did not. Okay. Cool.
Meanwhile, Yanioth, what about you?
Yeah, Yanioth is split down the middle on her reaction. She's operating from a place of curiosity without judgment, but she also is like covered in mud with smudge, like literally like her entire life needs to go through a dry wash right now. But she's also operating from like this weird panic, like she's shifting in her seat and she keeps looking at the door because she has in her head that he's the fire starter. But if he's the fire starter, who is Varakos guarding? Mm-hmm. Does she have this wrong? Is he operating from tunnels, beneath the ground? So she's on this very like, I have to pee, but I really want to know what he says. I don't know if Varakos should be there by himself. So that's where she is right now. She's probably feeding a lot of that energy into this encounter.
He can kind of pick up on that. And as he gazes back and forth and appears to be thinking on exactly what he should be saying, he grits his teeth and he says, I didn't start the fires, or at least I didn't mean to. I have been doing everything I can to try and stop them, to try and limit the damage that's being done. You have to understand, I can only act so openly in this city. I'm a wanted man, effectively, as are any who supported the Lunas, and particularly people like me who were part of the guard of the temple when, well, you know what happened. He leans back and he says, we were trying to get worshippers out of the city, prepare exoduses, those who needed to travel to go and stay with family. We couldn't stay here, at least most of us couldn't. And so we tried to go into the temple. We tried to seek about in there. There are artifacts, things that we could sell, emergency supplies. We couldn't get in through the main entryway since it's collapsed, hidden under an enormous amount of rubble. It would have taken an excavation team to get through. So we used the tunnels beneath the city instead, moved through. And while we were in there, we woke up something. And I don't pretend to understand it. I wish I could, but Malates, the high priest, he was killed during the raid, so we have limited understanding of the magics that are at work, but there is something, a guardian of some sort, a temple spirit, we think. It's what's causing the fires, or at least as best we can tell. We've been following around and we've been trying to stop it, trying to limit the damage, doing whatever we can, shepherd it, but sometimes we fail.
So something's been woken up from inside the temple, disturbed by your justified looting, and it's going about town lighting the fires. And that's what our friend, by himself, is currently standing above.
If he's standing above on the Seven Mothers Temple, where I left, I was observing the collection of you, follow you down here, he'll be fine. It doesn't make its way into the upper city. That's why it's been in the south side. That it's been coming down amongst the houses here. It's the most direct route out from the streets, and it makes the most sense for it.
Right. Okay, can you stop it? Can you tell it to go back to where it is? Because someone's gonna get hurt.
I agree. And it's only through your intervention that people haven't so far.
Yes, it is. It is.
We are going to try and stop it. We are going to do our best. I've evacuated everybody that I can from the city of my people, and now those that remain, we are dedicated on trying to figure out a way to stop this thing, but we don't know how. And before the collection of you became involved, we didn't have anyone we could have gone to. Well, in all likelihood, if we went directly to the authorities in the city, we would have been banished or executed for our part in what happened, and the beast would have continued to roam. You understand, it's our duty, if you'd like, to try and deal with it ourselves.
How many is ourselves?
Well, there are 4 of us who still remain, me and 3 others.
So you don't have the forces to actually stop this thing?
We are trying to figure it out. We have one of our number was studying to be a priestess, and we hoped that given enough time and resources, she might be able to find a way to reverse the sorcery that was placed, but we don't know.
And do you have any understanding as to why this is happening?
Well, these people desecrated a temple, and the temple guardian is hunting them. I know why it happened.
But it only got out recently when you started rifling around through things.
The damage of the temple is probably so great that it took one of us. I don't know what it was. Maybe we moved something, touched something, maybe our very presence. It could be our dreams, our thoughts. It could be the phases of the moon that are affecting it. It's very... These spirits, loons they're called, beings of elemental energy from the force of the moon, they shouldn't be able to materialize in this part of the world. There is a... you're not familiar with lunar myth, I take it, but there is a barrier, the glow line, which protects... And anyway, it's an aberrant event. We don't know why. We don't understand it. And without Malates to explain it and to deal with it, the people of this town murdered their only salvation.
So what are you and the 3 others looking to do? To banish it? To kill it? To negotiate with it? What are you hoping to accomplish with the spirit?
To stop it from burning people and from doing worse. We know that this thing has powers, and we've seen some of the things it can do. This could escalate, and we're willing to give our lives to stop it. As to how exactly, I don't know. As best I can tell, it can't be struck by weaponry, unless perhaps your friend, the Humakti, the sword priest, magic upon his weapon might be able to wound it, but in general, these things are immaterial.
Right. Well, that's a pickle. Can we ever go... Would we be allowed to have a route around in your temple and see what we can find? Given it's just I'm detecting a trend in people not really being able to solve their problems. So I figured we might step in and see if we can do it for you.
That's why I came here. I saw the collection of you leaving a note for me, and I presumed the rest. I can lead you to the temple. I won't lead you to my other companions yet at this stage, if you'll forgive me. I don't know if I can trust you, but I'll lead you there.
Understood. Shall we?
All right. Well, if there's anything else you need of me, and she'll kind of look around. I'd be interested to hear what the collection of you are thinking here. You all have hate Luna as passions. Yep. How deep does that hate go?
Huh, I actually don't have hate Luna.
Mine is deep.
Real unimpressed.
Yeah, so you're not looking too deeply into things at this stage. If any of you want to make an insight check in general, you absolutely can. But apart from that, this is what has been told on the surface. If you want to add anything else, otherwise the Luna has come to you and has given you some information. Beyond that, it's in your hands.
I'm not suspicious. I just think he's another in a long line of incompetent people in charge who are unable to deal with the problems that they've set into motion. And here we are, solving their problems for them again.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I don't know. I think Yanioth is actually impressed. He could have bailed. He could have been like, oh,
That's
we
true.
woke some up and we're out. But he's actually here trying to clean up the mess he made.
That's true.
Yeah, I hate the Empire, but this individual, at least she's like, wow, you actually stuck around. And you're still here sticking around trying to do the right thing for people who massacred your temple. Yanioth wouldn't operate from that degree of integrity.
Or at least that's what he's telling you.
Yeah, can I do the insight? Insight is your more or less sense motive, right?
Yeah, effectively, yes.
While she's doing that, I think Vasana is very much distrusting of this person, but she wants to seek the truth on what's going on, so she's not going to make any moves yet.
Yep. All right.
Can I augment with nothing?
I mean, hate Luna would be pretty appropriate.
I'll try hate Luna then. Listen, I'll take that bone. Okay. Roll dice with friends. I need lower numbers. Lower numbers. Jerk.
It does not.
I did. I failed that augment.
Okay, so you subtract 10% from the skill.
All right, this would be super comical, guys, because my insight wasn't that high before. We are operating at a 25, and now she has rolled a 92.
He is like Varakos, relatively difficult to read. He has spun you a story. Luna's a tricksy, though. That's their way. Who knows?
Quickly clarify, it's minus 20 as well if you fail the augment.
It's minus 20. Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so even
nice.
lower.
I
Hell yeah.
for sure failed that shit. Okay.
All right. So you're coming to us, hat in hand, eager to have us help. I guess lead on.
All right, good. You do detect like a slight tweak at the hat in hand term, but he will lead you.
He hasn't promised us riches or anything yet.
He has not. He has definitely not promised you riches.
Please solve that problem.
He will stand and he will lead you from the room. He will take you outside onto the streets. Do you want to recover your companion first? I presume so.
Yeah.
Are we not going to the same place?
The tunnels below.
What temple is he taking us to?
He's taking you to the same temple, but the routes are very different. He's going to take you, he explains, to he's going to take you through like a series of underground tunnels that lead here from the south side of the city. It's a completely different route.
I reckon we'll have him, especially since you said he might be the only one that can damage it. So, best grab him on the way.
Makes sense to me. Varakos, we will jump across to you for a second now as you begin to stand by and go to work, walking around the city. Walking around specifically the Seven Months Temple. You think there might be an arsonist below you. What is going through your head?
What's going through Varakos' head is that there's no chance that this arsonist is getting out of here. That if he is anywhere in the vicinity and he's down there, my watchful eye will not let him pass by.
Well, I've got good news for you. He's not passing by. Nothing is coming out from the temple at this stage. You are completely sure that nothing is going to leap out from this direction. Unfortunately, it's not quite as simple as that. Now, on the other hand, you are being watched, and we established this a little bit in the last session. There are people who are looking towards you, and they are trying to understand exactly what you are doing. And now that you were kind of standing guard throughout the night, and you've been here for a while, you can see people beginning to really give you eyes. You reckon that they're building up the courage to approach you. You're likely going to have to talk to one person or another. Are you taking any steps to try and have to avoid this, signaling intent, going to watch from a distance and hiding, anything like that?
Let me see. I feel like he would try to avoid the attention, but I'm just not good at that. So probably a different approach. Yeah, there's no way he's like stealthing this.
No, you're not fantastic. The classic would be just an intimidate check, enough to literally scare people away from even getting close to you.
Yeah, so that's the thing. He's going to make himself bigger, and just sort of intimidate everybody off of his case if anybody gets closer and starts approaching.
Okay, fantastic. In which case, people, you can see that they're about to approach. What is your version of intimidation? Is it literally just glaring people down, or is it like looking like you're focused, like pulling out your weapon or something and actually stalking around the outside?
Oh yeah. So he's intimidating them in the presentation of that. Like he has the sword, he's stalking around, making himself almost animal-like as he's going around. And that presentation is the thing of intimidation that I would like to go for.
Absolutely. So make your check for me, please.
Maybe?
Ooh. Slight technical blip, but we see...
Man, the rolls are on
rolls
fire.
are not good today. So Varakos, what is your intimidation?
It's not a fumble.
50.
Fumble? All right, we're all fine then.
55, yeah.
In which case, no one is going to actually, immediately demand something of you. But eventually, after a bit of talking, it is a woman who comes to speak to you, and she's holding a young child in her arms, and she will kind of step forward, arrive, and stay at a respectful distance, and she'll say, "Why do you have your weapon drawn? What are you doing patrolling around that cursed place?"
I'm looking for signs of my own purposes. Signs for my own purposes. They don't concern you.
Everything that happens here concerns us, especially when you're hanging around that place. You're not a worshipper, are you? And you're obviously not, but she's still asking.
Do I look like a worshipper?
Well, worshippers of the Seven Mothers tend to lie. And she kind of looks you up and down. If you give her nothing, she ultimately will leave, but you can see she will return to one of the large groups of people, and they actually will start staying and watching you. Like you have a concerted audience at this point.
Okay, yeah. So at that point, he is going to try to turn and just run to where his companions are.
Okay, all right. So
where he thinks they might be.
You know that they're going to be at the back door effectively. So if you're going to get an audience, you eventually go, all right, no time for this. You wait for a bit, you turn, and you leave, sprinting down through the streets. You hear a couple of the folks yell out, but you're darting through and running through the city streets. You are able to quickly lose them. For convenience's sake, the collection of you are heading in the same direction. Effectively, you will meet halfway through as you see Varakos powering down Terminator style one of the large roads in the last kind of dregs of the sun as the moon starts to rise. You recognize Varguzan, who will call the collection of you forward. Anything you want to relate to the others when you arrive?
Well, he's gonna say, yeah, I didn't see him leave. He wasn't there, and I'll stop as I see him there.
He kind of.
It's not him. Well, he says it's not him. We don't know if that's true or not. We're still trying to suss that out. And this is all the conversation's happening in front of him. We're still trying to suss that out, but it's not him. You did great. I think it's still beneath the temple.
He says there's
Oh.
tunnels or something underneath the city.
I pull
Great.
Varacos off separately, like allowing everybody to keep walking once they said their piece, and I wanna talk to Varacos privately.
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of relates some basic information, just enough to get Varakos vaguely up to speed, but then he will walk off and he will begin leading you through the section of the city towards the south market again. What did you want to say?
Varacos.
Yes,
He
Vasana.
A lunar. And I don't trust lunars, and I know you don't either.
I do not.
So, as much as my sister Yanioth tends to err on the side of optimism for everybody, I am a realist and understand that lunars are tricky, and that lunars lie, and that lunars should be dead if they lie to us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
as much as I need to be the leader and find the truth here in this situation, I'm relying on you, Varakos, to dispose and dispatch of this particular lunar should they step even a hair out of line.
My eye will be open, and my sword will be quick. And if that sword doesn't work, I got two.
Yes.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And with that,
Badassery.
she just keeps on marching.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
Varguzan takes you through the city streets until you got two of them. You're everything you need. Until eventually you arrive at a large, basically service tunnel that leads from the upper city of Jonstown down into the lower city. From here, Varguzan is able to lead you inside the tunnels and then through basically a set of like deeper access tunnels that link down and begin to weave and head below the city. What they start off being is relatively innocuous, either things that are, logistical simplicities or actually purpose-built tunnels, but they quickly start to become more treacherous and older, and you actually feel like you are heading down far below the ground. Onalda, you are familiar with kind of things below the ground. This
Onalda.
tends to be your way of... Sorry, Onalda. Oh my god.
One
See,
day.
it was a vision. One day. Yanioth, you are, as a priestess of Onalda, are familiar with these kind of things. And you would suspect that there is probably some vaguely magical history about these tunnels. As you gaze at them, these things don't tend to go this deep without reasoning. Deep in the history, you know that the history of Jonstown has several sort of ancient fables about how it was constructed, but you do not immediately spring to mind the root of this particular story. You have Varguzan acting as guide, and he will light this torch and he will begin to lead you through the tunnels, weaving back and forth. Normally, you would have to make some kind of relatively difficult roll or a series of rolls to find your way through, but you had Rocco as a guide the last time you needed to find your way through tunnels, and Varguzan is slightly less, fun, but he gets the job done. And eventually, you can feel that you are weaving your way up through the tunnels until at last you are in the vicinity of the Seven Mothers Temple.
Can she mark? I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can she mark the trail as she goes?
Yeah, make a track check to say that you're doing that, if you would, and also I want you to make a track check for other reasons.
Can I augment this with my
perception.
earth rune?
You absolutely can augment this with your earth rune.
I'm gonna need it. Okay, so earth rune was a 90. That is a 24.
24.
I think that's just still a regular success, right?
Still a regular success.
Beautiful. That is gonna up the track to a 30.
Yep.
So this is her attempting to just do scoops of marks with her fingernails as she goes. And do the
Oh my god!
suddenly love
This is
us.
the second crit that you guys have had. And all of them about Varguzan
Wow.
and it's kind of the related details. Okay, as you
Wow.
are marking things, you are used to the tunnels here, and as you move through, you see Varguzan. A couple of things. First of all, he very clearly takes you around a particular area that is right next to the Seven Mothers Temple. Like he does a detour so that he will arrive from the other side, and you would suspect that that is probably where his lunar allies are hiding. Since you were the one who also did this worship test and asked of Ernalda, you can track that the message that was delivered, the symbol that marked down and showed where the arsonist was, is pointing down to that area. So specifically, it doesn't point to the temple, although it's kind of close enough to be sort of, but it is pointing down towards the actual small lunar camp that appears to be right next to them. Now, you haven't seen this, just because of your expert tracking skill, you are aware of it. Varguzan leads around and takes you towards the back tunnels until at last he will stop and gesture forward. The tunnels are becoming quite rocky now. They're getting back towards the surface, and you can see signs of crumbling masonry and things like that. He says, it's through there. We've tried to avoid going back in since for risk of provoking something, but if the collection of you think you can figure it out, then by all means. We were trying to recover artifacts and gathering up things, and then all of a sudden there was a glow and something went wrong.
Just
so James, before Yanni, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
It's still
before Yanni makes the statement she's going to make, I want to make sure Bridget has crystal clarity. Called on to Arnaldo through divination, and I'm getting that the arsonist is actually the lunar camp, not whatever this cool little monster spirit is.
So technically, you would have gotten a proper answer. You would have gotten a 10-word answer, which I tried to sort of do it in a poetic way,
which was beautiful.
So it's a little blurry, kind of. If it was, both are involved effectively. There is a full story, but yes, the technical arsonist, lunar camp. You got a 1. You can put those things together.
So right before we go through that threshold, she's just gonna say very flatly out loud, like, he's lying to us.
All right. As Mago is talking, Varguzan stops. Yanioth, you say he's lying to us. Mago, you say let's get him. Varguzan will put his hand on his sword.
Give me.
Do any of you immediately launch to combat? At this stage, he's okay. Basana, you leap up and you intend to immediately strike, in which case we will leap towards battle. Brilliant. Okay.
Should have lied, bucko.
So, statements of intention. What are you all intending to do?
I want to disarm him.
You're attempting to try and disarm him? Okay,
Yep.
Fantastic.
To chop off his arm.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. I'm gonna take his sword.
That escalated quickly.
I was like, that's a true disarm. Permanent.
Sure, she won't be wielding much.
Vasana's gonna try to go for a pummel strike. So using the backside of her broadsword, she's gonna knock him out.
Okay, so you're going to go forward and you're going to try and strike him in the head, aiming to daze and not to kill. Or are you aiming to just hit him as hard as you can?
Oh, I'm gonna hit him as hard as I can.
Okay, all right. The key here is do you want to do your standard broadsword damage, or do you want to? So there is not a fantastic system, to knock somebody out. It is quite difficult to do. So usually, what it would be disarming. How disarming works specifically is you start attacking their weapon, and you deal damage to the weapon specifically to try and break that. If you want to be kind of knocking someone in the head, the key is to try and get right in that sweet spot of damage where they are dazed. Otherwise, you say yield or something like that. You encourage people surrender, and that is the standard non-lethal option. RuneQuest has a lot of non-lethal things, but they tend to be you resolve things through conversation rather than poking people. That said,
Oscar, you know what? With a 90% of hatred, no, she's gonna try to behead him.
Go for it. Split this guy's head open. Varakos?
That changes my tactic. I was going to grapple him to the ground, but yeah, I'm also going to go in with the broadsword then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blood and guts. Yanioth?
I think she's just gonna. They're all seeing red. She's gonna drop a befuddle.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So spirit magic spell. let's jump in then. Okay, so save your attention. What is your strike rank, Fasana, that you'll be coming in on with your regular
7.
attack? 7. Okay, strike rank 7 for an attack. Varakos?
6.
All right, Varakos coming in at 6. Won't track movement here because everyone is whipping in. Mago?
Well, mine depends, because I'm trying to stop him from drawing his weapon.
Oh, so you're actually trying to stop him from drawing his weapon rather than
Yes.
just attacking. Sorry, I may have missed that. Okay, in which case...
I just want to disarm him. I want to stop him from going to combat.
Okay, you want to attempt to stop...
I'm actually, because I actually don't have Hate Luna, so currently I'm like, no, you're not getting your weapon, we're going to have a discussion. I haven't realized that these two are going for kill yet.
Okay, that will become pretty apparent immediately. I think that if you want to go through and engage him directly, it'll be an unarmed attack. So let me get your strike rank there. One moment.
I have no skill in it, so it'll be base plus manipulation, right?
That should be right. Yes, that'll be natural.
And
That'll
just
be your
use my
default
base
natural
strike
weapon.
rank, so 4. I don't know
All
if I
right.
have a modifier for strike rank for this one.
That makes sense.
Why
to
don't I
me.
just go? I can just go slowly.
Oh yeah, actually,
Because they're attacking with weapons which are made for it. I'm going to take a while to sort of stumble my way.
that makes sense. So we'll put you in on strike rank 12. Meanwhile, with you casting a spell, casting Befuddle, Yanioth. All right. So that is going to be a standard spirit magic, I believe. It's a spirit magic, not a rune spell. Okay, perfect.
Correct, it's a spirit
All right,
magic.
so you'll be coming in first then. In which case, as I bring Befuddle up, you spin around. Do you want to describe your casting process?
Yeah, her casting process on this one is actually just her actually being hurt. She liked this guy. He reminded her of Varakos. This was like the Lunar who was actually trying to clean up their own mess, and it was a righteous decision because we burned the shit out of his temple. So her Befuddle is really like, you lied to us? And I missed it? How did I miss that? Why would you lie to us? Your people are right there. We're gonna kill them. And she's using that as her attempt at Befuddle.
Okay, fantastic. So first of all, can you please make a power times 5 check to cast this spell?
All right, power times 5 is gonna be a 15 times 5. I'm just gonna roll it before I do math. Definitely made it.
Nice.
Yeah, just about. What is your power?
Power is 15.
Your power is 15, which means that you are going to be contesting against his power of 12 on the resistance table. That is going to bring you to a roll you need to get under a 65. So please roll for me again a D100, and you are looking for under a 65.
Okay, we hit an 11.
Oh, okay. You are
Nice.
completely fine. All right, let me get the full effect of Befuddle up. I believe that this just means that they are confused and cannot make an attack, but I will
Yep, it
confirm.
is until they are attacked,
All right, brilliant.
which is gonna be like in 2 seconds anyway.
Real soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
they
wasted spell, but it's what she would have done.
don't have very long. So, effect of Befuddle. Yep, they have succumbed. You have skidding a power versus power resistance roll. They cannot attack, sound the alarm, and so on.
Sounding alarm's good.
Yeah,
That
they're
is good.
basically completely confused and not really able to act. So in which case, I think that sound the alarm also tracks to they kind of can't take immediate action to start protesting innocence or to run away or to something like that. So as Varguzan's hand slips towards his sword, he kind of hesitates for a second and he kind of blinks.
You Lunars are all the same. I can't believe it. I actually believed you. You actually got that over on me. You're burning. And so, yeah, she's chastising, more embarrassed than anything else.
Phenomenal. At the same time as which, we jump across to Varakos,
So actually, I actually think I am pretty quick. Sorry, very briefly. I looked up I think I'm on like strike rank 4 or 5 or thereabouts.
thank you.
What are
Okay.
you on, Varakos?
Thank you.
6.
I'm on
for
6.
Varakos.
I think I might be first.
All right,
And
let's...
Jim, looking up grappling, I think it's basically I grab them and then the spot I get is I'm holding on to them. So I roll to basically grab the dude and I'm gonna go for his arm or like I just try and grab him and then
Makes
it's a
sense
strength
to me.
versus strength to hold him in place. So
All right.
there's a chance we can de-escalate. There's a chance. I have
Let's-
no training in grapple though, so it's just
That's
gonna
the
be,
grapple
it's gonna
one?
be pretty low. It's a specific skill.
It has it as 8 for me on strike rank.
Oh, you have it. Oh, you have it written there. Oh, in that case, then I'm probably
Yeah, yeah.
slower because I won't be any faster than you. Oh, that's perfect because I don't have mine. Okay, in that case,
Yeah.
I'll go later.
Okay, perfect. In which case, we'll put you
Back to
we'll put you
killing.
back to go slow. Oh boy, here I go killing again. And Varakos, it's all over to you.
All right,
Oh,
cool.
boy.
Get his
Just gonna
ass.
go in broadsword. That's try to beat a 90. 43. That does it.
That is absolutely going to do it. Barguzan is not going to draw his sword. He's befuddled, but he's going to attempt to dodge as he sees a weapon slashing in towards him. So he is going to try and dodge, which he's not fantastic at. He is going to fail. So give me a D20
Oh
for
boy.
hit location.
Cool. 2.
On 2, so you are going to strike into his leg as he kind of moves backwards, and you slam down against him. He does have armor on under the sort of ragged clothes that he have, but you strike true. Please roll for me your damage.
Okay. That will be 5 total.
Total of 5 damage. Is going to go through his armor, and you see blood spurt out from his leg as he staggers, and you hear a short gasp as we go across to Vasana. It is your turn.
Alright. Excellent. I had to beat a 90%.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so you are well and truly there. He does not have his sword out, which means he is going to attempt to dodge again. Fail.
Get his
So,
ass.
D20.
I got a 10.
Going for a 10 is going to hit him in the abdomen, which is a potentially lethal area. And please roll your damage with your broadsword.
Come on, sis.
A total of 6 damage,
6.
I think that
plus
will be
1.
plus. Yeah.
7 damage.
7.
Is going to go through his armor, is going to not overcome his health, but you slip this blade into him, and he shouts in pain. Now, having been attacked, the effect of the befuddle is over, and we are going to go straight to his turn. Okay. On his turn, he is going to turn, and he is going to attempt to run. I assume that he crashes into you as you go, Mago, and you have the opportunity to try and grab at him as your final action. So can you please make for me a grapple check? You could welcome to augment this if anything, if you would like.
Yeah, I actually don't really have a relevant augment because as established, I actually don't hate him. And I'm really more about chaos. So this is just, you know, since we're here, since
like,
we what everyone else is doing, I'm just happy to be involved. So I'm rolling, I think I'm under 20 to succeed.
Here we go.
No,
Oh,
nowhere close.
unfortunately not. He is going to, holding at his stomach, limping already, going to brush past you, manage to shove himself away, and go sprinting off into the shadow. And what he's going to do is he's going to toss the torch he was carrying behind him so that he goes straight off, vanishing into the darkness. We'll go back up straight away. He is running, he's attempting to flee. So those of you are you going to be pursuing him immediately? Okay.
I feel like he'd let us into an ambush. Yeah, let's get him.
I have a composite bow, so I kind of don't want to run, but rather just.
Yep. Okay. So it's going to be you're going to get so it'll be a change of weapon, which is 5. What's your strike rank for your bow?
Interesting. It says S/MR.
Yeah, so that is about loading and missile rate, which means that you will come in, I believe. Let me just check your character sheet, and meanwhile I'll get everybody else's. What is everyone else's statement of intention? Yanioth, what are you doing?
Quick question. What's the spirit combat?
Spirit combat is for specifically when you are fighting incorporeal beings. Like, for example, the strange loon monster that has been described. So that could potentially be very useful here. Unfortunately, you're not able to use it off the cuff like this.
Understood. Okay, then once she sees her sister pulling out a bow, she'll do the same. But she will say, I know where he's going. I know where his camp is.
Okay. The words hang flat so you're pulling out a bow, you intend to fire. You're pulling out a bow, you intend to fire. Varakos, what are you doing?
I'll pull out a javelin and prepare to throw it.
Ooh.
I will remind you that this is a fleeing opponent, and you have previously expressed an unwillingness to strike at them. Not only is he fleeing, he has not drawn his sword.
True. That's true. He is running away. Yeah, thank you for the reminder on that.
No, it's quite all right. The heat of battle.
Yeah, I love combat in games. I really do. Yeah, he's not gonna. Can I pass? Or
You absolutely can take no action. What you do see, though, is your two companions pulling out weapons and aiming to draw.
Could I also make a reminder that your leader also commanded you to do something?
Oh, this is beautiful. This is the exact honor that you must undertake. What will you do? Where does your duty lie? If your leader orders you to kill a fleeing opponent, what do you do?
He's so conflicted, his mustache went away.
That's so good. Oh, okay. Varakos is going to run after him. He's going to spin the movement running after him without being in the way of. That doesn't make sense because he might get hit by the.
You likely would.
This is. I feel like he's as frozen as I am right now. I feel loyal to Vasana, but like, okay.
You're stuck. You hesitate. You don't know what to do. Your weapon is gripped in your hand. You can see it dripping with blood from the true strike that you landed.
He is gonna pull out. He's gonna pull out the javelin. He's gonna hold it high. But he's just gonna prepare it. He's gonna prepare it. He's gonna hold it, and he's gonna watch to see if their strikes hit first. But he's not gonna stop them.
Okay, fantastic. Mago.
I'm gonna yell, "Oi, get back here, you dick!" And I'm gonna run after him. And I'm gonna hit him in the back of the. I'm gonna hit him with my battle axe. So I have to draw, so +5 for drawing, and then I'm gonna run him down and hit him.
Okay, so you're about to scream and yell and charge after this guy. Meanwhile, Varakos, you are frozen at the minute, and perhaps your statement of intention may end at the last moment. But first of all, let's jump to the two sisters, and let's have you swing off your bows and take a shot. Now, I want to remind you, this is tight, claustrophobic tunnels. It is dark. Some things work in your advantage. You can't zigzag very well. Some things work against you. He only has to get like round one corner, and it's black and it's all shadows already. You will take negative 20% to this roll.
Whoa.
And can I augment? With,
you absolutely, if you haven't augmented anything yet this scene, which I don't believe you have, you absolutely can.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
No, yeah, you are all good.
So I'm gonna augment with Hate for Lunar Empire.
That tracks.
That makes sense to me. All right. See how you go. Oh no!
French toast.
Oh my god, that could be fantastic because if that is a fumble on a passion roll, that has a whole extra series of effects.
I don't think it is because your hate's over 50, right?
Yeah,
it's at 90.
That's such a shame.
Oh, so close.
You can get psychic backlash, and you can possibly have like a crisis. So you might have turned back, and you see like terror in his eyes, and you could have frozen like London, and potentially been unable to act for quite a while. But instead, you were able to loose the arrow, which is going to slam into one of. Oh no, but you still might make a check. That was just
a further
roll.
minus 20 penalty.
Yes, so you're at negative 40.
Jesus.
The other thing Varakos could have done was roll against augment or against passions for. That's a good roll.
Well done,
Oh my god,
Vasana.
I think you're still gonna make it. You could have rolled against passions, but I like that both of them were kind of the honorable action. So that there's that. Okay, so that is gonna be a 4 to start with.
Vasana's a badass.
Your arrow looses. Now, so what is your final skill coming to there? So Vasana, what were you actually rolling against by the end with the negative 40?
Fucking 5%, right?
5%.
Holy cow.
That's hilarious. And you make it.
Yo,
absolutely fantastic. Is a ranged attack, so roll for me a d20.
Oh, woo!
Headshot. Is that a headshot?
That's gotta be close.
That's a headshot.
If
Yeah.
It's a head.
the same as us.
It's head. He turns and he begins to run, and you strike him straight in the head.
Now, was he wearing a helmet? Because previously he was wearing armor under his clothes.
He has a helmet, but he was not wearing it because he is trying to remain incognito.
Fucking sneaky dick.
6. Damage.
6 points of damage to his head. All right, we're going to jump back to Vasana in a second. Yanioth, you're firing as well.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for Sin right now. Okay, yes, she's firing as well. I cannot augment. Yanioth is rolling against a 25 in the dark tunnel, which she is going to just barely make.
The same thing.
Roll
Made
a
it by
D20.
1.
Oh my gosh. All right. And sorry.
That's
You wanna know
D100?
who? A D20. Sorry.
No,
I'm
go, okay.
really excited right now.
Yes!
Roll your damage.
No.
What the hell?
Damn lunars. 3 damage.
Get that out.
3
Yeah.
damage.
Oh, wait. Hold on, baby. Wait. Hold on. I lied. Ignore that. My composite bow is a D8. Let's try that again.
Yes!
9 damage.
Oh my god.
All right, so
Don't piss
Yanioth,
off the sister,
you say
apparently.
he is lying to us. He goes for his sword, but then his hand drops. The two of you strike at him with weapons. He throws down his torch and he starts to run. He's getting away. Mago, you take off to charge after him, and suddenly, thuk, body slams into the ground. Stops running. Someone can pick up the torch and walk forward, and you can find 2 arrows embedded in the back of his skull going straight through. He died from the first. The second one was superfluous, but it would have killed him outright as well.
Just insult to injury. Vasana is awesome.
Body lies upon the ground. Rakos, you stand by, javelin quivering in your hand. Any last action you want to take?
I'm gonna throw it at the body.
You strike.
Go ahead and get that energy out.
It lands well. The body twitches on the ground.
Good shot.
Vasana's gonna go pick up the torch.
Raise it high. The body is still, no movement. You look around, you can see nothing else.
She's gonna put her sandal boot on his head, and she's gonna pull out the arrow.
Bonk.
And put it back.
Glistening. Recover your weapons.
Yeah, and then she's gonna pull out Yanioth's as well,
Yep.
just in case she wanted to do any sort of blood, anything. If she's allowed to do that, I don't know. And she's fairly strong, so she's gonna actually lift this guy up by the head,
Yep. Grab a hold of his
and she's
hair.
gonna
yank him
drag
up.
his body in the direction where he was headed.
Right. So it's a relatively long way, but you know where the camp is because Yanioth directed you to it. Yanioth showed you where it was. So the two of you turn away from the entryway to the Seven Mothers Temple, and you begin to move through.
Oh yeah, like Vasana's seeing red. She is pissed.
You have your leader who has taken this action. Does anyone else object or say anything, or shall you follow along?
I'll fall back to walk next to Yanioth as we go through, and I'm just gonna say, in the spirit of cooperation, they still know what we need to know. We can't kill everyone in there. The others hate the Lunars. You might as well. I've no quarrel with them beyond what they've done today. We need to set the fires to rest and stop whatever they've woken up. That's the priority, right?
Usually she has something fun, flirty, cute to say. Stone cold. She looks like Rocco in the face
Fuck
right
yeah.
now. She is embarrassed and she is pissed.
Okay. I think I fall back to the back of the group then, and I'm watching both ways, and I'm mostly paying attention back to the way we're not going, back where this thing is, but I will follow.
All right. It's a short trip, punctuated only by the horrible sound of dragging. Varakos, is your crisis of honor? Have you come to a resolution after the fact?
He's calming down a little bit now, but that really just like did not calculate for him. He's just looking at Vasana to kind of see if she noticed or like what the vibe is. What am I getting, Cynthia?
I think you can't really see her face because she's just like directly going forward. She's emanating this like war energy of like, she's pissed. You haven't seen her pissed off like this in a while. Like I think probably Yanioth has been the only person who's seen her like this. She doesn't like being lied to. She doesn't like Lunars. and she doesn't like being like not having the truth in front of her. So she like lost her shit, but she clocked you.
Okay.
She clocked you not throwing that javelin right off the bat, but she'll get to that later.
Okay, cool. He's gonna go get the javelin. He's not really gonna say much. He's gonna silently, slightly relish in the dead lunar, but again, now he feels like he's like dishonored the group almost. That's where he's at, head space wise.
That is very fair. You continue to follow along. Yanioth, I'm interested to hear from you. Has Yanioth killed before, or is this a first?
Oh no, Liana has killed before. When she's not like dancing naked on somebody's table, she's slitting throats for sure. But it's usually like the people left over from like what, Vasana didn't finish or what, someone didn't finish because she doesn't get into the fray. But no, she's killed before. She was going to kill the 2 lunars that were tied up in the bottom of the... Yeah, she was going to cut their throats right there. She just didn't want to deal with crying Varakos about it.
Okay.
Like, she plans on walking into this room and slaughtering everyone there. She's completely done. This guy lied to us, and then he tried to walk us into this spirit creature on an ambush. So everything down here can die.
Fair enough. Wandering through the hallways, you continue weaving back and forth until at last you come around and you will spot ahead of you a tunnel that is emanating some light. And you'll hear these slight sounds of movement coming from within. We'd established previously that none of you are sneaky, which means that they will hear you coming and you hear movement on the other side. And a cautious voice, a woman's voice, is going to yell out, Varguzen? Varguzen, is that you? As you continue walking forward. Vasana, it sounds like you're in the lead. What does this dramatic entrance look like?
Excellent. Vasana is fairly strong, so she basically just like heaves his body, like as soon as she hears his name being called, heaves his body, like dead body, at this woman, and basically as his head like and body lands, Vasana steps out and uses Demoralize and says, "You are all going to stand down now, and you're going to explain a lot of things to us."
You burst in. You can cast Demoralize if you would like, but I will tell you, you don't need to. You walk in and there are 3 people and none of them are armed. You can see that there is a hunting bow off towards one side sitting on a small table, but it is well out of reach. And as you burst in throwing the body, the woman in front of you who came forward is wearing the robes that would have been once worn by a priestess of the Seven Mothers Temple, and she screams and backs away. The other 2 in the corner, 2 people, perhaps you've seen one of them around before. The man seems vaguely familiar, but they grab at each other and they lean back, holding onto each other as the warriors and yourselves stream into the rune. The body of Varguzen, thunk, lands flat on the ground as you all walk in. They start begging for their lives. Please don't hurt us. You can make an intimidate check if you would like to sort of on top of that, but this is I mean, you like take plus 50 to the roll. This is no contest. In fact, the roll is so trivial you don't even need to. They are within your thrall.
Special.
I intimidated them.
As I said, they backed up into the corner. They're shielding themselves. You can hear like heavy breathing, sobbing coming from them as they back away. Does Vasana feel bad at all, or is this just like, these people have to a little bit, tiny little bit as they back off into the corner? All right.
I mean, Vasana is human. Like, it sucks to see people feel that way, but at the same time, she wants to know the truth, and if somebody's going to keep lying to her, she's going to take them out. So she's going to tell them, like, I want to know the truth about this creature or this beast. So one of you step forward who can actually speak the truth.
The woman at the front in the robes of a priest is eventually going to step forward. I'm Fareed. I don't know what Varguzen told you, but the beast, it's in there. It's in the temple. It whatever he said, it's true. We were trying to drive it away. The only option we had was to light fires to scare it off. We don't want any trouble, please.
Vasana stays silent but looks over at Yenyoth, because Yenyoth is the softer, skilled person. than Vasana. So Vasana will step back at this point.
God, I really hate this for me right now. Yanioth has her hands on the door right now, and she's going to throw a look at Varakos and start slowly shutting the door to shut him out of this room.
Oh.
Mago can come in or out as he please, but she's directly looking at Varakos and just kind of shutting the door on him.
Valid.
Mago, what is your intention?
I'm definitely not leaving these two in the room with these innocents. Or quote-unquote innocents. I'll step inside, and if they move to go forward, I'm going to be in the doorway so I can kick it back open and get Varakos in if things start turning. I am very much not on the side of murdering a bunch of unarmed lunars, so I'll step inside so Yanni closes the door close, and then I'm staying near the doorway, away from the two, and I'm keeping an eye on the situation rather than actually interacting with anyone at the moment.
All right, fantastic. The door shuts on you, Varakos. Outside, there is nothing left but you and the darkness as you catch your breath. The torches are all inside. Inside, you shut the door, Yanioth. Vasana, you see your sister shut the door in answer. The Lunars, and I keep saying Lunars, they are Sutterites. They worship the lunar gods, but they are, Lunars we can effectively use as a term here, are backed away. They seem entirely panicked as they look across the collection of you. Fareen will say, we just needed to stop it. We didn't know how to stop it. We've done everything we can.
Can I say, as I come in, so that Vasana and Yanioth can hear, I'll go, this wasn't an ambush. They aren't prepared for it. They lied, but these three weren't going to kill us.
Yanioth.
Then they shouldn't suffer any consequence as long as they follow our direction.
Yanioth, what is your response to your companions at this stage?
Yeah, Yanioth is seeing red. She's super embarrassed, so she is going to pull out her composite bow, and she's going to aim it directly down the face of the woman that's been speaking to us. And she's going to riddle off some type of legalese as official appointed heroes and officials of Jonstown. We hereby find you guilty of arson, and then she plans to let loose, and she plans on going full slaughter.
Okay, fantastic. You can see this in your sister's eyes, I think, Vasana, and I, almost in like I'm steering things a little here, but you kind of get a moment of clarity where you're looking around and you can see this absolute fanatical hatred in Yanioth's eyes, a hatred that you have too, as the Lunars are carrying away. What would you like to do here?
How close am I to Yanioth?
You guys are basically next to each other.
I'm gonna put my hand up, like, on her bow to kind of, like, push it down a little to try to stop her. I'm gonna whisper to her that she's innocent. The rest of them in here are innocent. Let's not shoot them down until we get the entire truth from it all.
My goddess would beg to differ. When I called upon Arnada and asked who set the fires, she showed them. She just admitted herself to arson. How can you deem them innocent? And this is a big moment because not ever in life would she ever contradict you or challenge you in public.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
That's something she would never do.
Because if your God said it and my God hasn't come down to talk to me about the truth, that means that there is something here that is different.
If there's a moment of silence and it looks like you are hesitating, then Fareen is going to stutter, and she says, "We lit the fires, but we did it. We did it because we had to. If we hadn't, that thing, it would have caused chaos. It would have destroyed everything, destroyed everyone. It was the only way that we could drive it back, keep it hidden away. It can send people mad with a touch. It can turn them against each other."
Look, this all came about because people acted rashly and they attacked people, and the scales haven't been evened yet. What you did was wrong. What was done to you was wrong. Let's end this cycle here. I'm going to stand in front of Yanioth and I'm just going to say, please let us deal with this. It can go where it needs to go, but for the time being, you're going to regret this.
bow is pulled, that right hand is shaking. You can see like the tears welling up in her eyes, and like that one blink they start streaming by, and she's 2 seconds from shooting around you, but she lets go.
Let the arrow draw. I'm assuming you mean you let go.
Yeah,
slow
yeah,
down.
sorry. She's gonna release attention.
I just wanted to make sure.
No, she's not attacking. She is gonna shove the bow at Vasana and go, I don't see the difference between killing Varzguzan and killing them, but alas, here we are. And then she's gonna leave the room.
Brakos, the door opens up and you see Yanioth walk out. For a second, you don't know what you're going to see on the other side, and then as Yanioth walks out, you can see that everyone is still standing. You do spot Farine collapse to her knees, kind of chest heaving at the kind of shock and stress of the situation.
Varakos is going to, look in, still survey, then look back to Yanioth. And he's just going to be like, pretty much just asking, well, what now?
Yanioth looks like a 7-year-old that's pouting. She's got her back against the wall, one leg up on it, and her arms across the chest. She just shrugs at you. She literally looks like a childish, spoiled 7-year-old girl. Pouting.
I feel like this would be a moment that Vasana, because she's feeling very conflicted, would probably sit down, like, over the body. And she's going to probably try to use divination to talk to Orlanth, because she needs the truth here and she is losing it.
So divination is a 1-hour ritual, but you can take that time, you can prepare. Probably you kind of like realize that you need to pray, you need to seek guidance on this, and you will start to go through the preparations to do so. But Farine is kind of interrupting you, like in a high-pitched voice that is strained from the tension. And she'll say, "So what now? We will give you what we want, what you want. Just we it's in there. We don't know how to stop it. We can't stop it. Are you gonna let us?"
She just kind of puts her hands up and over onto the woman that's talking to her and kind of like gives her a warm, like, give me a second here. And then she's going to kind of just drop it and kind of... Is this woman the one who was trying to become a priestess?
Yes. She's wearing
awesome.
like tattered priestess robes. Yeah.
I'm going to basically have her like sit down next to me and kind of like witness what I'm about to do sort of situation.
I like it. It is a ceremony in the midst of chaos. It's very eye of the storm. You pull down and you can see this couple at the back who are still holding each other and watching. The two of you sit and you go over the body. She closes her eyes for a second, then opens it. Outside the door in the shadows, the sort of darkness almost folds over as you two watch inside. Well, maybe Varakos, you watch, you're torn between. Yanioth, perhaps you pointedly look away. And the question left is, Mago, are you going to be another observer to this? Do you watch? Do you wait? What is your action as you see? This is a almost. I would anticipate that the Seven Mothers Priestess probably cast divination as well. It's sort of like a joint ritual as the two of you seek to commune on a religious level.
We can wait. I'll head back just to keep an eye on the direction that we were being pointed to, just to make sure some freaking ghost doesn't come screaming out at us or whatever, but...
Alright, fantastic. You lean back and you keep an eye on the shadows where your two companions
What
are.
did they say about they lit the fires on purpose, very briefly? Because that's what I was going to seek clarification on, but I might be able to puzzle it together from what they've said already.
It was quick. They said that the fires were the only way to keep the thing back, to keep it driven away.
I'm going to head back then the way we came, sort of staying near Varakos and Yanioth, and I'm just going to crouch down and get out a tinderbox and start striking a flame. I'm just going to build a small fire. Just in case.
All right.
Huh.
Probably a good idea. That kind
I
of
like that.
preparation. Excellent. Meanwhile, inside, the ritual begins slowly. You sit down, both of you on opposite sides of the body, close your eyes and enter into meditation. The minutes drip by, and gradually a kind of, heaviness comes over the entire room. Well, everyone can feel what's going on, and though there's the voices of many gods speaking to many different people, there is a commonality between all of you as you connect with the divine. can you please make an air rune check? Of course, you have time, so you would make it again following if you fail, but...
There's a level of how many hours we're...
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Still, you're fine.
Bravo.
How many rune spends would you like to spend? Well,
Sorry,
each rune point gives you an additional question.
Ooh. I'm only going to spend one.
Okay. What would you like to ask? I'll give you a description of what occurs briefly.
What sort of guidance can you provide in this situation?
All right. You are underground. You're deep and hidden away, but the winds of all length can be found anywhere. And as you're outside Mago, striking the tinderbox, the flames flutter a little bit as you feel a drift come inwards. At the same time as this is happening, you can feel almost a rumbling of thunder around you, and you're not sure whether it's in your head or elsewhere. As you look across, you can see the Seven Mothers priestess is clearly going through some kind of experience of her own. When she opens her eyes, they are a strange, brilliant red. As she looks upwards. I had Varakos describe an event before. Sorry, Vasana, did you want to add something?
Can I clarify my question?
Yes, please.
I specifically want to know how to help my teammates.
Sure.
Because I'm lost.
Lost. Okay. All right. Mago, I want you to describe what you think this strange joint ritual looks like, or specifically what kind of magics the two might undertake. If there's a wind that rustles them about, if there's specifically like a strange silvery light that begins to emanate from the tattoos, just a cool flavor thing.
I think Cynthia should set the groundwork. It's your god and your ritual, and I'll expand upon it.
Makes sense to me.
Awesome. So I really like the line that you had said, Jim, that this is happening in the midst of chaos, so almost like sitting in the eye of the storm. So it almost feels like everything just kind of like slows down in this moment, and you can see the two women sitting there, eyes closed, just like they're breathing kind of like in sync with each other, so you can kind of feel like see their chests open and expand. And you can see, if you look at Vasana closely, her eyes are kind of like rolling back, and kind of like you can almost see like the spark of lightning, and you can see like her hair is kind of like standing up. Because like this, as her god's like coming through, but like you just feel her body just like super still, like as if you're in like looking at the eye of the storm.
That's fantastic. Anything you want to add from the perspective of the Luna, Mago?
Well, that's it. So they worship. I mean, it's interesting that all this came about because the Seven Mothers temple was burned down, and here we are basically two disparate religious beliefs coming together over the body of a person who was killed because we didn't understand the situation. But an hour of peace can be found so that questions can be asked before more drastic action is taken. So I think in that peace, the quiet of the storm, there is a tension, because everyone knows that if answers aren't found soon, it may return to violence. And I think everyone's sort of holding their breath, as I imagine the priestess is also asking questions of her own gods here in this burned shell of a temple.
She is indeed spending what may be her last rune point for a very, very long time, attempting to try and get the answer to a question. And meanwhile, Vasana, you ask, what can you do? How can you help your teammates? What is the correct way? And you feel a sense kind of building within you as Orlanth, after a fashion, begins to answer. And what fills your heart is a sense of kind of like you're suddenly switched on. You feel as if you've just woken up, or you've just been jolted into awakeness, and there is a sense of alertness and readiness and above all else, a sense of real adventure and heroism. And a knowledge kind of suddenly clicks into place deep within your stomach, and you feel kind of a grumbling almost as your entire body settles around it. And it is awareness of what heroes do. Heroes protect the weak, those who can't protect themselves. They offer their strength to their friends when they need it. And if there are those monsters that need slaying, they slay them. How can you help your friends? You can do it by lending them your strength and doing what must be done. As your eyes flick open, alert, you see opposite you, Fareen's eyes flick open as well. And in a breathless whisper, she says, on the body of the priest, inside, there's something there that needs to be destroyed.
Without hesitation, I flip him over. Try to find what it is that she's talking about.
No, he's the guardian inside, and she gestures towards the wall. Lost. We never found the body. He's in there, but so is it.
Noted. And she stands up. I'm gonna assume that what was his name again? Vareen?
Varguzan.
Fareen is her name.
Got it. Varguzan. For dramatic effect, she's just gonna close his eyes as an apology. And she's gonna take out coins. She's gonna put them over his eyes.
They would be lunar coins, because that's what's used. And as you put them down, Fareen lays her hands across them, and you can see like a glow of magic as she begins to kind of caress his head in what must be a traditional burial motif.
That's Vasana doesn't apologize much, but that's kind of her way of apologizing. She's gonna turn around and look at Yenioth is outside, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She's gonna come back out and relay to everybody what was said, that she spoke to Orlanth and this is what was granted of her and all the details that were just specified.
All right.
Okay. Collection of you look towards each other.
You lot aren't gonna go anywhere, are you? And I point at the people inside. Just park here. We're gonna solve your problems, but we're not done. You are still lighting fires, and there's gonna be Wereguild for that. So just fucking don't move.
They nod at you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna move.
Good. Right.
Good.
All right.
All right, well, shall we? And Vasana looks down at the fire like, what are you doing?
I said something about fires. It felt better safe than sorry. I'm just gonna grab a torch and see what that does. Anyone else want one? Torch up for grabs?
I'll take one.
Torch, yeah, torch. Anyone? Torch. Two torches should be enough. Torch, there you are. One for Varakos. Yenioth, interest you in a torch? Okay, alright. Okay, I'll carry yours. If you want it, you just let me know. I kick out the rest of the flag. Actually, I'll leave it. Maybe it'll protect there. I don't really know what's going on with this thing. I'll carry two, one in each hand. Let's find a priest and a ghost.
The collection of you turn about. You begin to move back through the hallways, retracing the steps that you took. You occasionally catch a glimpse of blood from the terrible injuries that were received by Varguzan. As you come around, rise, and you will eventually head towards the enormous entryway as the tunnel begins to widen, and you find yourself coming in to the base of the temple. You look at each other, and I kind of like that this image of you with your weapons stowed at this stage, each of you holding torches. Is that correct, or is it time to pull out some weapons?
Vasana's
Yenioth isn't holding a torch. Oh,
You're
sorry,
not
go ahead,
holding-
baby.
Yeah, you're not holding a torch, of course. Yes, yeah.
Vasana's hesitant to take anything out at the moment. So yeah.
Excellent. Just a torch. This is one of the few times we see you relying on something other than the blade, Varakos.
Yeah, well, can I still have one out and still have the torch? Can I do
That's
both?
fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. At least a short sword. Yeah, so he is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's comfortable. And Mako holding two torches as the collection of you head inside and emerge.
Ooh, really fast. When I asked about spirit combat earlier, you said there was something that I needed to do. Can I do that now before we open the door?
So how it works is that you need to for spirit combat to begin. You need to discorporate, and that is like doing a ritual which takes you out of your physical body, kind of like astral projection.
Oh, God.
One member has to be discorporate to start spirit combat. Fortunately, this thing is discorporate, so it is very liable to try and engage you in spirit combat.
It's more reactive unless you have a reason to force it.
Got it. Oh, wow. It's an incorporeal thing.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool from a mechanical
That's really,
standpoint.
I want to see a fight like that.
Jim,
Really
cool. Do I get any chaos vibes while we're down here? Just quick question. I'm working on this as lunar nonsense.
You can try and sense chaos if you desire, but just with one eye on the clock, I will say
that's
no.
what I imagine.
You do not. This is purely lunar, and although the lunars do consort with chaos at times, it's kind of the nature of their magic. Here, no, there is no chaos. You're in the heart of Jonstown.
Rock and roll.
You move into a large circular basement set well below the top of the temple, where you would have been not so long ago, standing and searching at the top. The basement is built in the shape of a large circle, and you can see that it appears to have been divided up into the shape of the phases of the moon. As you move through, you can see there are bodies on the ground that have in various states of decay, some of them crushed, some of them sort of hidden away, covered in soot and dust, the signs of the terror that was inflicted upon this place. As you start to move through, you feel tense. You know somehow that you are being watched, although you see no evidence of anything inside. What would everybody like to do to start with? As you move through these rooms, you can see a large staircase that would have headed down from the outside. You can see in the center of where the moon would be, there is what appears to be a large kind of inner sanctum area, which has an altar in front of it. Bodies, rubble. Searching will be a standard action if you want to start looking for something in particular.
We're looking for the priest, right? That's what I'm looking for.
All right, so you're going to look for the priest. That will be one search check. If anyone else wants to make a search check, you can also take that action, but I just want to know specifically.
Remind me again what scan would get me.
Scan is more of a large kind of gazing around, but what scan would do is if something's about to leap out, a scan check will alert you.
Okay.
Searching is like going through the rubble and trying to find, like looking, under bits and pieces. Scan is looking across the entire room.
And search is like it is its own skill here. I just might not.
That is correct. A scan check and a
100%
search check.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
I have failed.
Okay, good to know. Are you making a search check as well, Varakos?
I'm not. I don't have the skill.
Oh, you can make it. You could make it a base. It would be equal to your perception. So that just letting you know that would come out to a whopping, I believe, 5% or similar. Let me double check for you.
I was thinking
Base is 25. So plus
base
your
is 25.
perception.
Yeah.
is-
Okay. So 25. Your perception is 0. So plus 25. You could make it 25.
We'll try it. I've had good luck so far last week.
They've been
So
some
let's see.
Good rolls.
Dude, Varakos is a wizard and can just summon rolls from the ether.
Wow!
Have you rolled
Let's
poorly
go!
yet?
Let's go!
Oh, man.
Maybe once. Okay.
What about the rest of you?
I think I'm gonna go for that scan check. I just want to make sure this thing isn't gonna pop out of anywhere.
Sure. Make a scan check for me.
50. Okay. Nope.
No.
Fail.
Okay. Your scan is 50 plus, I believe, so that this will not be a fumble.
Only crits or fumbles this stream. Nothing.
Yeah, it's all the way. And Yanioth, It occurs to me that this is quite similar to the last time you were in the basement of a temple and everything went wrong for you.
Like, what the hell? Yeah, like, yeah. You can get a phobia of going into dark dungeons beneath ground. Yeah, so she's still doing the little pouting thing. She's come down a bit. She wants to actively search for the priest as well. But at least with me flipping through the rules really fast, she's going to have spirit block in the back of her head. So when or if this thing jumps out, she can at least throw that on whomever is targeting.
Okay, so you can have a spell prepared, absolutely. Just so for my ease of access as I go through spells, is that a rune magic or a spirit magic?
She's a rune.
Oh, okay, that's going to be a good one. All right, and you all begin to search. So make your search check.
Okay. She made it. That's a 7 under 30.
I think you rolled a D8. You rolled a D8.
Oh, damn it.
Oh,
wonder
no.
I made it.
Which is a good trick and will result in smaller numbers.
Great trick.
Very clever.
And she failed that search check on a D100, not a D8.
Okay. As the collection of you begin to search through, you are kind of scanning the area of Asana. You are watching, you are looking, trying to spot something emerge, but every shadow, every flicker of light from the torches is making you spin about. Meanwhile, Barakos, you bend down, you begin to kind of shift rocks away, move them about this way and that. And after, almost 10 minutes spent inside this place, as you're moving through the wheels one by one, you come forward to the sections of the wheel. It's a moon phase, but it looks kind of like a wheel. You come up into the central chamber, where before the altar, pinned beneath a large section of rubble and rock, you will be able to finally spot the remnants of what looks like robes, and they remind you of what Farine was wearing, and you will move to begin to drag them away one by one. You know that there is something in here on the body of this priest, presumably, that you have to destroy, but as you start to touch the rocks, suddenly there is going to be a great red flash that almost blinds all of you, and emerging, it appears from the altar, from the walls, from all around you, comes an incredibly terrifying shape, a figure with long red arms and drifting black hair, wearing jewelry in the shape of large flat moons. It gives this terrible screeching noise that you hear psychically, not really, as we now go across and proceed to combat. You have found the beast, and it is ready to attack. Statement of intention. What is everyone doing?
So we wanted to find, there's something on the priest in theory that we might
That you have to destroy.
And fire does something. I will rush forward to stand between Varakos and it, since he's the one that found the body, and wave the torches as if warding back wolves.
Okay.
Hoping that does something. So I guess attack it with the torches?
I actually want you to make an intimidate check, is how I would like you to do this.
I'm gonna do that.
Right? What about the rest of you?
I am already preparing to cast Blade Sharp on the broadsword.
Sick.
Okay, fantastic. So how this is going to work, just for reference, you would have this training, you would know the way that your magic affects weapons. You will deal the extra damage from Blade Sharp, but the actual damage from the weapon will not have an effect. Unless it occurs to me. Do you have a legendary weapon? Humakti Gifted Broadsword inscribed with the Death Rune.
Yeah.
Does double damages to wolves after armor.
I'm going to dive into some stats here, and let's hear everybody's thought. Cannot be harmed by non-magical weapons.
That sounds pretty magical to me.
Humakti Gifted Broadsword. If there was anything, I reckon.
A good line for that, yeah.
I reckon as you pull out your sword, what does it look like? You haven't described your badass weapon yet.
Well, here's the thing. It specifically says magic items, and that's right under that.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
well, it's clearly magical.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so this thing is just carved to the nines with death runes all around the blade. The hilt itself looks pretty makeshift and just rustic and rugged, but those carvings are just deep in there, and they're just coursing with magical energy.
Sick.
Yeah, it's ready to go.
All right, Fantastic. So you're going to draw your weapon and attack, which I presume means that you will land on your usual strike rank of 6 + 1. Is your blade sharp 2 or blade sharp 1?
Blade sharp 2.
Your blade sharp 2 + 2, so 8 will be your strike rank.
All right.
All right, brilliant. That is Varakos. Mago, we're gonna put you first because you're essentially just running forward and making a check. Vasana, what is your intention?
All right.
So okay, let me remap in my head. So Varakos, you found the body of the priest, but you're now going to attack the thing that just appeared.
Yes.
Mago, you're also going to go attack the thing that appeared with fire.
I'm gonna try and draw its attention, yeah. While someone
Sweet.
searches.
So what? Yeah, I was like, while that's happening, you're going to see Vasana basically slide on her knees and because she knows she can't fight this thing, so she's sliding on her knees to go take the place of where Varakos was, and was going to go rummaging through to try to find this thing.
All right, that'll be a strength check from you to start clearing stuff off it. Just literally heaving away these rocks and trying to bring things out. Yanioth, you see your companions leap to action. Usually you might immediately panic and try to protect them. Does combat shake something loose, or is there something deeper that's changed within you?
I'm going to stay on the same path that she had before with having that spirit block up.
Yep.
So she is going to, because that's what she's been spinning around that little pebble of dirt in her hand, getting ready. The question is, do I put it on the combatant or do I put it on the one that's in his face trying to get his attention?
Or would you put it on yourself?
No, she wouldn't put it on herself.
Can she do it reactively once she sees who's gonna have the...
Yeah, technically this thing does have a statement of intention as well. So as you're trying to do this, and this is pretty cool. So as you can see this thing, it looks like it's about to leap in and it's going to try and engulf people effectively. It's sort of immaterial. It's going to wrap around them. It's twisting. It's deforming. It is scared of fire, and there is only one of you who is not holding a torch.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, so it is going to look like it is going to lunge around and rush straight towards Yanioth, who is also the toughest one in spirit combat, so it's not all bad.
Oh, God. Okay. So help save us some time, or Jamie, so I'm not breaking up combat things. What is going to be the best? Because she has a bunch of spirit magic that protects her or wards an area.
Warding's pretty long. I think Spirit Block's what you want.
Spirit Block is pretty great. Casting Spirit Block on yourself was probably a fantastic idea because you're the only one who wants to be in spirit combat. So if you get pulled into spirit combat, this is going to protect you a lot.
Beautiful. So she's sitting there going, Varakos, Magos, and she makes eye contact with this thing. She's like, oh, fuck, and she drops. Sorry. Edit that one out.
We're PG-13 now.
PG-13. After she was dancing naked on the table yesterday. Anyway, since she drops the spell on herself.
Fantastic. Okay. So your cast is going to be first, Yanioth. So make for me a Earth Rune check.
All right. Earth Rune. She made it. Regular
okay,
success.
Fantastic. The spell is going to cast successfully as you begin to swirl magic around yourself. I don't know if you're picking up dirt from the ground. I mean, this is an underground place that there's rubble everywhere, so kind of spewing that dust across yourself. You did do that ritual up above, so maybe a large chunk of the dirt slips down, and you catch it in one hand. And,
catch it, shatter it.
Sick.
Yeah, the air. You know how dust looks when you catch it in the right light, where it has that swirling, translucent, hallucinogenic look? That's what she has wrapping around her right now. Is it me?
I think it's Jim's side.
I enthusiastically knocked my cable. Perfect. All right, so if you want timestamp, brilliant. And diving about, so you will successfully cast this spell, smearing it across yourself, and then you are ready to go. We dart across to the next person in, which is going to be Mago. Make that intimidate check for me.
Okay, and my objective is to get it to cower and flee.
Yes.
Of course, unlikely will work. I will invoke. Actually, not really apply. Again, I'll just flat roll it. It ain't chaos. Yeah. That's gonna be a failure.
You start swinging your torches at it, and it doesn't like them, so it's not going to target you, but you're not managing to. What you would have done is applied a debuff to it, as on its turn, it swings around and begins to rush through and go straight to Yanioth. As you dive to the ground, Vasana, and start struggling through, you can see this thing rush towards your sister. It suddenly stretches to what seems like an infinite wall above you, Yanioth, and then it wraps around you, and you are suddenly trapped, or it feels that way. First of all, you lose 1 magic point. Take that.
Whoa, out the gate, okay?
Yeah. Now, second of all, we are going to make a contested power test, right?
Oh boy.
So it is going to compare its power against yours. So what is your power times 5? So what is your regular power?
Power times 5, 75, 15.
15. Okay,
15.
Brilliant. So it is, first of all, it is rolling, 1 second of that for its spirit combat. I'm good. As it makes an attack against 15. Resistance table. Okay, so it needs to make under a 75 as it attempts to attack ye. All right, here we go.
Yo, God.
That is entirely successful.
I was excited as well at the beginning. I forgot whose team we were on.
It is not a special success. It is just a regular success. Unfortunately, though, it is going to apply its power of madness to you.
Oh.
Far out.
On a critical success, it can turn you totally insane. You lose permanent intelligence, and you are literally out for months, and it can potentially kill you outright, depending on whether it is a holy day. On a special success, it can turn you into a blood-raging lunatic who's going to go around and start attacking everybody. On a regular success, which is much better, you collapse to the ground, which I'm so sorry to do to you, but you are immediately
No, that is perfect.
overwhelmed
Oh, shit.
with catatonia. Boom, as you fall to the ground sideways and land. It begins to kind of loom over you. Now your prey knocked down, and you can hear it kind of like almost this high-pitched hum growing louder and louder and louder and louder as, Vasana, you start throwing these things to the side. Make a strength test.
Give me 1 second. I failed myself and did not grab a calculator. There it is.
It's quite all right.
16 times 5, correct? For
Yes. You can augment as well.
It'll be 80.
Thanks. Math.
Math.
Let's
Math go.
maths. Math go.
I would love to augment it with love for family, because I think she just watched her sister just get
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I
out.
don't think you have augmented this scene, so you are good. Please roll your love family. That looks like a success, so you plus 20 to your
Oh,
strength,
thank goodness.
which is going to bring it to 100.
Far out.
Get a special.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's a crit.
What better roll could there be than a crit as you begin to fling these things sideways, tossing rocks away. Look, with a critical, there's no contest. You smash these rocks to the side. You can see the body of the high priest now curled up, shriveled, terrified, clearly murdered in a violent manner. And there are several kind of pieces of trinkets. You can see a beautiful necklace. You can see a bracelet made up of linked crystal shards that show different stages of the moon. You can see a pinky ring made of red jade. But behind the body, as if the priest had almost fallen on it to protect it, you can see a huge segmented bronze banner, half mural, half tapestry. And as you move everything else aside with your crit, you can see this incredibly rare artifact, and your mind immediately locks. It's that.
That needs to be destroyed.
If you would like, since you have discovered it, and I'm a big fan of seeing this critical launch forward, you could yell something out to Varakos.
Yeah, definitely gonna yell to Varakos, destroy this!
Varakos, on your turn, your intention, you were going to be the last one to react. Your intention was to go and strike the loon. You saw it bring down Yanioth. You hear Vasana yell towards you, and you can see this segmented bronze tapestry thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan?
Hearing that, I'm going to switch targets to that thing to go attack it.
All right. We will not go into the fine details of switching targets because you found the thing with a crit. That is the detail that you need. You sprint forward and you want to describe yourself. This is very much like destroying the One Ring and getting rid of a monster. What would you like to? Why don't you take over here, Varakos, for a second?
Already crackling with the magical energy of the Humakti gifted broadsword, Blade Sharp does some extra, obviously, energy. I mean, extra magic, so that's also on there. He is just going to come with it and drive it directly in, just almost with laser-like efficiency, following these orders, finally, to attack it.
You dive forward, you land above the thing, and you stab down. The segmented plates twist and crack, and you can feel a massive release of magic as a great flash of red light comes out, and you can see the thing in front of you, the loon with great terrifying eyes, looks up from Yanioth, whom it was looming over, and moves towards you, but then shrieks, and as the light comes out, there is a great tearing in the fabric of reality as it is maybe sucked into the broken stuff, maybe sucked out into the ether, maybe sucked into nothing, and with a great echoing roar, all will fall silent, and you will be left alone inside the temple. Who's the first to break the silence? Vasana?
Definitely running over to Yanioth to pick up her body to make sure, how to try to, treat her and take care of her.
So it is properly terrifying because when you grab Yanioth and you pick her up, her eyes are open. She's just not doing anything. She's completely and utterly catatonic. And you start shaking her and nothing happens. There's no movement. Just what's your immediate reaction?
Crying?
Yeah. Tears start sliding down your face. You keep shaking her, and it is only after your other companions come towards you that you can realize that she is breathing. You're okay. You're just catatonic. And after a time, you will be able to restore and repair the situation as best you can. Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought there. You'll be able to get Yanioth, and you will be able to take Yanioth off to the side, and over time, you'll begin to be restored. I did mess up the order of operations there slightly. Technically, the madness should have happened at the end of the turn, which Varakos, you slid down and stabbed, but we are going to slide past that because the effect of the catatonia only lasts for half an hour anyway, and before long, you will be blinking and restored to yourself, and the collection of you can make your way out from the depths of the ruined temple, and you will be able to rejoin the others in the camp and ultimately rejoin the city at large, knowing that it, for now at least, is safe. I'm going to zoom out for a second. I'm going to ask the collection of you if there's any last things that you want to do in the immediate aftermath of what happens. Otherwise, we will jump back into the wrap-up that occurs across the following days.
Honestly, the only thing that I wanted to bring up is the moment between Vasana and Yanioth, because the roles had switched, where Yanioth is usually the one healing Vasana, and I think for the first time, Vasana's mentality switched to, is this what my sister deals with every time I get hurt or something happens? This is the worst feeling in the world, and, that's where all those tears, start coming from. So, I think Vasana, even though she's the type to charge out and do everything, I think she's a little bit more, especially with having killed somebody who was fairly innocent in a situation. And now this, I think something's changed in her. enough that I think in the wrap up, like if I were to like readjust her sheet, like I think some things would probably change about her from this.
No, I completely understand, and that is usually what we would do in the upcoming downtime. But you have a lot of this has been a big deal. This has been enormously traumatic for you. And as the collection of you will gather out limping, you will rendezvous with the other Sartorites, the lunar worshippers, and you will reemerge. Farine will ask, "Just let us go. Just let us leave." If you say no, though, she will accompany you, along with her companions, and the collection of you can return towards Onagrim Holdfast, where some kind of justice can be meted out.
Is it possible to have the moment? Because I'm inclined to say no, because I want her to be able to rebuild her what the frick? What am I looking for? Thank you.
You can tell
to
her
help
that.
with her town. Yeah, so I would say no. You have penance to repay, and you're going to do that for your goddess. And I think that's how you can repay the town.
She will emerge. She will nod. She will emerge from the tunnels with you, and the collection of you will wander back out. There are no fires that night. There are no lunars to light them, and there is no need for them to be lit in order to try and drive back the loon. The collection of you will maneuver through city streets, eventually arriving in the upper city, where you will take the worshippers and you will hand them over to the authorities. In the days to come, there are several discussions and decisions that need to take place. The topic of Weregild is raised, but the topic of Weregild for the depth of the temple is also raised. And there's a little bit of, how do we decide with that? Vasana, am I to hear that you intend to stand up and to lend your voice alongside Farine and try and say that the Lunars have a place here?
Absolutely. As somebody who has a 50 on a moon ruin, definitely help these people.
Fantastic. In which case, Onagrim Holdfast, trusting you, will see to that. And over time, a new temple will begin to be built inside Jonstown, and people will slowly filter. That is, worshippers of the Seven Mothers will slowly filter back towards the city. And time. What a concept, what a thing to discuss, because time is something we no longer have. This is...
Seamless.
I know. This is our final session of the RuneQuest starter set stream. We have played through 2 of the scenarios inside. We've played through a fire in the darkness, and we have played through a rough landing. But that is not all the adventures. Onagrim Holdfast still has a lot of interesting news, including recent disturbances from a nearby little village hamlet. If you're interested in playing the Rainbow Mounds and are interested in general in exploring the world of the RuneQuest starter set, that is all here for you to explore if you pick up the product. But I would like to hear a brief epilogue from our heroes here. Of course, your characters may go on to have additional adventures, but where does the direction of their life take them for the time being? Who wants to start? Vasana, please.
Mine, I think, is fairly obvious. I think she stays in Jonstown and helps resurrect the temple, and helps her fellow moon person make sure that no harm comes to her while she's doing this, and help kind of bridge the communication between the 2 groups that may not see eye to eye.
Fantastic. I mean, you have a high moon rune. There is a possibility that Vasana might even explore some worship of the Seven Mothers. Wouldn't that be a twist at the end of all of it? Brilliant. Who wants to jump in next? Varakos, please.
Varakos, ever since this little episode, has been pondering over loyalties and honor and what does that even really mean. So with that, moving forward, he really respects what he has built, with this party here, and he would like to continue adventuring, with the crew here, but with a different sort of angle. He has prayed to his god. He has really sort of immersed himself within his cult. But going forward, he would like to be more decisive. Because, freezing will only lead to failure, and that's not something that he wants. So in the future, he will absolutely commit to whatever that choice is.
Well, let me ask you one last question. If you were placed in that situation again, are you able to tell us what Varakos would do, or do you want to leave us in suspense for dramatic irony and see if we can piece it together?
I'll leave you with 2 words. Team Vasana.
Hell yeah. Brilliant. Yanios and Mago.
London was about to go in. He was about to go. You stopped
London
me.
was ready.
So I was ready to go.
Yanioth and Mago, what about the 2 of you?
Well, Mago. Seeing that the Seven Mothers got a friggin' temple and the Stormbull's still woefully underrepresented here in Jonstown, we'll absolutely see that one is created. He's not big for any sort of political nonsense, and the fact that the leadership is shown to be reliably incompetent will move to have them at least make some decisions. I mean, this whole thing with like Wereguild and stuff happened because they refused to act and they kept on plugging their ears and letting things go on. He sees a true leader in Vasana and in his comrades who are willing to make decisions, so we'll push to have her possibly have more sway over Jonstown, but actually at the end of the day has zero desire to do so himself. Kind of just wants them to start actually taking responsibility for their actions so he can go out and kick the shit out of chaos and stuff. So I'll build my little Stormbull temple, hopefully promote some real leadership in the community, and then go out and find those friggin' Scorpion men and kill the rest of them.
Sounds like a good plan. Yanioth?
Yeah, Yanioth is going to get out of town for a while because at least looking at my sheet, I feel like this one incident is shifting her death and man, her illusion and truth, and her stasis and movement.
Oh, shit.
So I think she's going to run over to Minria's Landing and go and have some soul searching. But before she goes, she is going to drop certain things off to each of the party members as a form of an apology. Mago is going to get like a little wood carved statuette, probably rock. She's Earthrune, so it's probably rock of him.
Yes.
And then like another thing that has blueprints where he can just hand the blueprints to other people. I was like, hey, this way the architecture is already done.
Hell
Sorry.
yeah.
To Varakos, she is going to have a custom sheath made for that really awesome sword. It is very high death rune. It is very mundane. It is very simplistic. It is very black and gray on the interior, but you can tell she probably spent 80% of her money on it. And then for Sana, before she leaves and says goodbye, she's going to have her a new circlet made that has the moon phases starting from ear to ear.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So the
That
moon
is
phases
awesome.
changes on the circlet. And she's going to go to Minria's Landing and go sit her ass down because she acted like a child. She put the party at risk. And she acted like a little baby, and she needs to do some maturation, some maturity on her own. And she's going to go somewhere quiet to start focusing on that.
You'll be welcomed back in Menri's Landing with open arms. And with that, the remaining decisions, mostly due to prodding by Vasana and Mago, will come to be the council eventually. And as all things are in Sata, over time, the discussions will turn to myth and story and be forgotten in the mists of time between all the feasts and the battles and the wonderful things that happen in Dragon Pass and around Jonstown in the future. Pick up the RuneQuest starter set if you want to be part of that. And let's say goodbye to our cast one more time. London, where can we find you?
Muted.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. I'm London Carlisle. You can find me on Twitter at London Carlisle, where I post about tabletop role-playing game stuff. I'm also on Ain't Slayed Nobody. I always plug that with the wonderful Bridget here. I play games all over the internet, and I'm just very happy to have played this one with all of you. I love playing with you, and hopefully I can do it again.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Cynthia.
Oh man, I'm a little emotional because I don't want to leave y'all. Like, I
Same.
love playing this game with you guys.
Same.
Shoot, I'm at a loss for words. Twitter at SinDancer. You can come find me and talk about whatever you want. Geek stuff, anxiety warrior stuff, queen mentality stuff. Like, let's talk it up. Let's have some fun. If you want to look at some of the costumes that I create, for some of the characters that I do on different games. You can go find me on Instagram, Cynthia__Marie. That might change soon, but just follow some of the socials and I'll let you know when it changes. Other than that, you can find a lot of my work on YouTube or Twitch. I'm in Ellie by Night. Go check out some of the World of Darkness stuff. I'm in a few Call of Cthulhu games way back in the day on the Initiative Order. Just come find me. It's a lot. Just enjoy. And good lord, like, you guys are all amazing. This was such a joy to be on.
Thanks so much. Across to Bridget.
This was so super intense, James. Like, my God, what a table. So, hi, yeah, I'm Bridget. You can check me out at Symphony Entertainment. or symphonyentertainment.com. I'm going to cut it off there because I am borderline emotional, like with Sin. James, you ran the hell out of this campaign. Thank you for your patience on teaching us something new. Thank you for introducing us to the world. And like, I couldn't have asked for a better table. Like, talk about being around top shelf people for like, oh my God, let's do it again. So just thank you. I love you guys. That's my partying. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bridget. Appreciate it. And across to Dave.
Same as well. It was a great time playing, and well done everyone for, charging into RuneQuest. Sword first. I can be found in places, there we go, at Good Ship Fun Trip. I also GM our Call of Cthulhu campaign on the Stream of Chaos. So if you want to see some Call of Cthulhu, check us out there. So I heard a plug. Cheers.
Thank you one more time. Enjoy yourselves, and never fear, there will be more RuneQuest coming back to the channel. We will see you in the future, and all the best.